let me go over this one with you. So here's the quiz question. 10z squared plus 7z minus 12. So, okay. So we factor. What's the first question we're supposed to ask in every factoring problem? Can we take out a greatest common factor? Right. What's in common to all the? Is there a GCF? Is there something that goes into 10, 7, and 12? Is there like some number that goes into 10, 7, and 12? No. Or is there some letter they all have? No, the back one doesn't have a Z. So no, but it's good if you look for that. It's not there. All right, we'll go on. So then we do the FOIL thing. 2 parentheses. Front times front to be front. What times what is 10z squared? What times what's 10? What multiplies to be 10?
2 and 5.
5 and 2, 2 and 5. Either way is fine. So I'll go 5z, 2z. Good so far? 5 times 2 is 10? Probably that instead of 10z regular z, right? You remember you do the numbers closer together, 5 times 2, those are only 3 apart instead of 10 and 1 or 9 apart. Right? So try 5 and 2 first, probably 5 and 2. Now let's go to the last. Last times last to be 12. Don't worry about the negative, we'll do the signs later. What about the 12? What times what is 12? 3 and 4. Now, could I do 3 and 4 like that? Is that even a possibility? No way. Right away you know no way. Why? Why no way?
Because the numbers in the parentheses can't have anything to do with each other.
Yes. You can never have 2 numbers in the same parenthesis that have anything in common, right? You can't have a 2 and a 4 in the same parenthesis because 2 goes into both those. It's not going to be. Why not? Because they would have 2 in common. So what? Well, we got all the commonness out on step 1, right? That's the first question we ask. Is there anything in common? Get that out right away. So there can't be anything in common later. So no, can't be. If it is the 3 and the 4, it's not in that order. It would have to be the 4 over here and the 3 there. That's a maybe, because then 5 and 4 have nothing in common, and 2 and 3 have nothing in common. So maybe. How do we know for sure? We check the middle, which comes from the oi, right? The 2 inner, the 2 outer. What do the 2 inner make? 8z. What do the 2 outer make? 15z. Can they make the middle term, which is plus 7z? Notice no pluses or minuses anywhere until right here at the end when I have the 2 little happy face arcs. You got to draw those, right? You can't skip that. You got to draw these arcs, right? See, 4 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 3 is 15. And then sign in the middle goes on the bigger. 15 is bigger than 8, right? 15 is bigger. Plus in the middle, plus goes on the bigger, minus on the other. Plus 15 minus 8 is plus 7, huh? That good? So that means minus goes straight there, plus goes right there. It's all good. That's the right factoring. That was answer A, huh? They might have had it the other order. Yeah, they did. But same thing. Is that good there? Questions I can answer? All is well? All right. Stuff and give you enough time to work on that. Sometimes I shortchange the hard stuff. So I'm going to skip around. So I'm starting at number 4 here. 2w squared minus 32w plus 128. All right, so we are factoring. And what's the first thing we always look for when we factor? GCF, right? Is there something in common to all the terms? Is there some number that goes in all those?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know 2 because they're all even, huh? Yeah, so do that first, right? So when there's a GCF, we do the 1 big parenthesis step first, and then next step after that, then we'll go on to the 2 parentheses, huh? So do the 1 parenthesis step first, then go on to the 2 after that. So take out the 2, leaves w squared, 16w, 64. Everybody good? Right? You can just, on your calculator, Just divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. When you factor a 2 out to the front, you're dividing all those by 2, really, aren't you? You're pulling 2 out of them to the front. Is that good? To there. And now, can you factor what's left? Now we do FOIL on what is left. So finish that up. What times what is 64? 8 times 8. All right. No signs yet, no pluses, no minuses. Wait, now do the little happy face arcs. You're happy, you're almost done with this problem. 8W, 8W, grab the middle, bring it on down. Can 8W and 8W make minus 16W? Well, sure. Sure, if they're both negative, right? If you lose $8 and lose $8, you lost $16. So both negative. And the two negatives do multiply, remember, to be positive 64. Right? The last term comes from multiplying, right? Multiply. So yeah, that's right. It's all good, isn't it? So this is our answer. Only thing is we have identical twins, right? You notice we have the exact same thing twice. What do you do? I think you probably already know. What do you do when you have exactly the same thing twice? You put a 2 power on it, huh? So there's how they want the answer. W minus 8 squared. 2 W minus 8 squared. There we go. That's not really any different than what we did yesterday, huh? That's the same thing. The only difference is we ended up with twins at the end. Yesterday we did the take out the GCF and then do the FOIL thing. Is that good? Did you make it through all that crazy homework last night? Did you make it through that last section? What was it, 5.3? That's a tough one. We good? No questions? All's well? All right. Okay, let's try that one. 80b squared minus 200b plus 125. All right, give that a try. You know the first step, right? Oh, let me give you a hint on this. This one's a long one. Let me give you a hint. On a multiple choice test, you would look down and you would try to see what's already been factored out, huh? On the test we take next Wednesday? Yeah, so try finding a number that goes into all those. Use your calculator. Remember, you got to get the greatest number. Let me help a little bit. What if I looked at it and I said, hey, 2 goes into all those. Oh, wait a minute, no, 2 doesn't go into 125. What am I thinking? That's not going to work. What goes into all those? Yeah, 5. 5 goes into all those, yeah. So put a 5 in the front, huh? So GCF, 5. Yeah, I guess it's just 5. I was thinking of something else. I was wrong. Yeah, just 5. Put a 5 out there. Take it from there. And then do the FOIL factoring from there. Okay, so this is 16b squared. Right? So you just divide them all by 5, don't you? Everybody good there? When you factor out a 5, that means you're dividing them all by 5. What's this one going to be? 40? Good to there? And then you do the FOIL thing. Right? Like that. Good. The 5 stays in the front, doesn't it? Whenever you take out a GCF, it stays there all the way to the end, right? And then the 2 parentheses, like that. And then front times front to be front. What times what is 16b squared? 4b, 4b. And what times what is 25? 5, 5. We good to there? So now we got to check the middle. You know how to check the middle, right? With the happy face arcs. So the 2 inside, 4 times 5 is 20. Again, 4 times 5 is 20. Can 20b and 20b make the middle term minus 40b? Yeah, both negative, huh? So both negative. There we go. But that's identical twins. These are all going to be identical. The only difference with this section and the last one is they're having identical twins show up. So identical twins, you just go, oh, yeah. Just put a 2 power. Here we go. 4b minus 5 squared with a 5 in the front. We good there? How we doing? Is this making sense? Questions I can answer? No questions? All is well? Okay, you please stop me. Speak up if I can help. I'm going to keep moving. Otherwise, if I don't... So... v squared minus 9. This is new. So here's really the new item of the section. Is this kind of a question right here. V squared minus 9. What that is, first off, notice it's different because it only has 2 terms, right? Everything we've done up to now, well, we've done 4 termers and we've done 3 termers. Kind of going down, counting down. Now these are 2 termers. Right, look back for a minute, right? This was 3 terms, right? All the ones we did today were 3 terms. 3 terms. So, everything we've done today so far is 3 terms. Yesterday we did some 4 termers when we did a grouping, 2-2 split, right? So we've done 4 termers, we've done 3 termers. This is the first time we've done 2 terms. What do you do with 2 terms? Well, I'm going to call it an FL. It's my little nickname. It's not really an FL, but I think that'll help you. So it's like the word foil with the OI missing. It's like a foil. It's like a 3-termer where the middle term is missing. So what? What does that mean? Well, how do you do foil? You do the 2 parentheses, right? And you go front times front to be front. So what would that be? Just V and V, right? V times V is V squared. And last times last to be 9. What times what is 9? 3 and 3. And how do you get a negative 9? Like what signs to get, how do you get 2 3's multiplied to be negative 9? Yeah, 1 positive, 1 negative. Either order doesn't matter. You put the negative first and the positive or vice versa, whatever. As long as one of them is positive and one of them is negative, positive times negative is negative 9, and we're done. Right there. This will be your favorite kind of factoring. It's quick and easy. We're done. We don't have to mess around with all the happy face arcs and all that fooling around. Why? Because there's no middle term. That's the nice thing. It's just F and L. There's no OI. The OI, the middle, the painful part is gone. It's not here. So we just skip it. You just do F and L and it's all good. This will be your favorite kind. It's the easiest kind of factoring. And it's the last kind. This is it. You've seen them all now. This is the third and last kind. We have 4 terms, 2-2 split. Bless you. 3 terms, foil. 2 terms, FL. That's it. Well, and of course, GCF is always possible in any problem. That makes sense on that. You might wonder, I would if I should, I'd be like, well, where'd the middle term go? I mean, why is there no middle term? What if we did do the happy face arcs? Let me show you. I think that's instructive. You don't have to do this. But let me show you what really happened to the middle term. If I multiply plus 3 times v, I get plus 3. You don't write this down. Just watch me this. And then minus 3 times v is minus 3. So what does those come out to be? 0. See, the middle term is 0. That's really what's going on. If you did the happy face arcs, you'd get 0 in the middle. That's why there's no OI term. It's really 0. The middle term is really a big 0. So we don't need to do that. It'll work automatically, guaranteed. Don't need to fiddle around like that. It's nice. You can skip the middle term. They call it formally a difference of squares because it's a difference, it's a subtraction of what we call squares, right? That's v squared, and 9 is 3 squared. So those are squares. That's why they call it that. I call it an FL. Whatever you want to call it, here's how you factor it. Make sense on that? Questions I can answer? All right, let's practice it. Okay. S squared minus 81. Same thing, do the FL. It's an FL. So 2 parentheses, front times front, to be front. What times what is S squared? S times S? Is S squared? Good. And last times last to be 81. 9 times 9. And how do you make a negative 81? 1 positive, 1 negative, huh? On the 9s? We're done. Don't need to mess with the middle. Don't need to do anything else. The middle's 0, really. There we go. Is that good? Questions? I'll keep moving. So minus 9 plus a squared. Let me write this. For FL, 2 terms, we must have minus in the middle. You must have minus in the middle. So for FL, for the 2 termers, you must have minus in the middle. Remember how yesterday we were talking about wanting things to go from highest power to lowest? Forget about that today. Well, at least we don't want that for FL. We want it for FOIL, so we will do some 3-termers today, and I'll remind you that they need to go highest power to lowest. But for FL, we don't care about powers. We just want a minus in the middle. That's all that matters. So I'm going to take these 2, and I'm going to switch their order. So it'll become a squared minus 9. Right? That's the same thing. That minus is still on the 9. A squared still has nothing in front of it, plus, if you want, you know. Right? Now we can do the FL factoring, huh? 2 parentheses, front times front to be a squared, AA. Last times last to be 9, 3 times 3. How do you make negative 9? 1 positive, 1 negative, done.
But if you didn't switch it, does it matter if you were to have left a negative 9 in front? So say you didn't switch the A squared to the front.
Yeah, you have to. You do have to switch it. You got to get that minus in the middle, which requires, so you got to switch it to get that minus in the middle. That good? Questions on that? All right. (36b squared minus f squared). All right, so try that one. It's already got the minus in the middle, so you don't need to reorder anything. It's good to go as it stands. So it's an FL. Let me jump in and help. FL. So front times front to be 36b squared. 6b, 6b. Is that good so far? Makes 36b squared. And then f times f makes f squared. 1 plus 1 minus to make negative f squared. There we go. It's your favorite kind of factoring, right? We good? Questions on that one? No questions? Good. We don't care about the powers, we want minus in the middle. So 64 minus a squared. Notice this one, right? Let me write again. For FL, two terms, minus in the middle required. We do not care about highest powers in the front. Okay, whereas for FOIL, for FOIL that have three terms, those are the ones that have three terms, we want highest powers in the front, right? So everybody see that difference. So you got to get that key difference down. There's a big difference in the order we care about for three-termers versus two-termers. So three terms, FOIL, we want highest powers in the front, right? That's what we did yesterday, right? Remember we did a bunch of them yesterday, and I kept saying, hey, you got to reorder that. You want the highest power in the front. We'll do a couple more today. For FOIL, that's what we care about. When there's three terms, FOIL, we care about highest power to lowest. But for two terms, FL, I don't care about that. I just want minus in the middle. So look at this one here. Am I going to reorder this one? Or am I happy the way it sits? Do I care that a squared's at the back? No, I don't care. It's just two terms. Now, if it was three terms, if it was like 64 minus 8a minus a squared, three terms, I would go, oh, got to reorder it. Got to put the biggest power in the front. Got to go biggest to littlest. You know, I would do that. Everybody seeing the difference? Am I getting through to you? I'm not already doing the Charlie Brown teacher voice, am I? Maybe a couple hours from now, but not right now, right? Please tell me. It's not already 111. You're sitting there thinking, what am I going to do this weekend? Right? I get this first, then think about the weekend. All right. So, right? Is that making sense? If it's really important you know this, it'll save you a lot of trouble. If there's three terms, like yesterday, we'll do a couple more today, three terms, yes, you want highest power to lowest. Two terms, all you care about is minus in the middle. That's all you care about. As long as you got minus in the middle, great. Who cares where the powers are? See the difference? All right. So, I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm not going to reorder it. Just jump into the FL. Just do the FL thing. FL, two parentheses. Front times front. So let's do the front. Front times front to be 64. What times what? 64. 8 and 8. And those go in the front because they're making the 64 in the front. Don't put them in the back. They stay in the front. Why? Because they're making a 64, which is in the front. Right? They're sitting in the same spot the 64 is, namely the front. And then in the back, a times a is a squared. How do you make negative a squared? One positive, one negative, done. That's all. No reordering, just an 8 plus a and an 8 minus a. And we're done. It's easy. Is that good? Everybody see when you reorder and when you don't? It's all about what you care about. So for FOIL, three terms, highest power to lowest. For FL, two terms, just minus in the middle. That's all we care about. Okay. So 196 r squared minus 100. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let me let you give it a try. I'll give you a second. Let me just dive in. What's first step on every factoring problem? GCF. I hope you remembered to look for it, even for these. Even for 2-termers, 3-termers, 4-termers, all termers, GCF first. So what's in common? Yeah, it might be 2, might be 4. Try 4. See if you can divide them both by 4. That's a good idea. You want to basically find the biggest number that goes into them, huh? So try dividing by 4. I think that'll work, right? Something. So like 49. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, good. Everybody good with that first step? That's the one parenthesis step, right? GCF is always take out what's in common, one big parenthesis. Now you can do FL from there. Does that make sense? Now do FL. Now do FL from there. So leave the 4 just sitting in the front. 2 parentheses, going to do FL. Right, front times front. 7R. 7R, front times front. To make front. Last times last to make 25. 5, 5. How do you make negative 25? 1 positive, 1 negative? Done. Are we good there? Is that good? Questions on that? No questions? Are we happy? Anything I can answer on that one? No? All right, I'm going to keep moving. You've got it. Okay. 81A minus, whoops, getting scribbly here. Minus 49A cubed. I see what I need to say to be more helpful. So most of you just nailed it out. Well, about half of you. Anybody that was having any trouble, it was always the same thing, trying to do 2 steps at once. So I can help about half of you if I say that again really slowly and carefully. If you had, everybody knew how to do the 3, 3, 9, 9, 7, 7. Everybody, you're all good with all that. The only thing that was messing anybody up was trying to do 2 steps at once. That was the only thing that was confusing people. So is everybody hearing me on that? When you do GCF, when you take something in common, that's a 1 parenthesis step that you need to take first and only before you go on and do the 2. So that makes that's not just for FL, that's for all types of factoring. All types of factoring. When you look at 2 terms and you say, do they have something in common? Something they share, something they both have? Yeah, they both have an A. Right? Remember when they got letters? You take the lower power out. This is A1, this is A3. So the lower one's A to the 1 or just A, if you want. Do the 1 parenthesis. The mistake that consistently, anybody that was having any trouble tried to right away go to the 2. They knew there was an A in front, but they tried to go right away to the 2 and 7, 7, 9, 9, all this stuff, and they got confused. That's because they're not doing the 1 parenthesis first. That makes sense. You got to do the 1 parenthesis. Then on the next line, we'll do the 2. Is that good? Take it slower. Take it slower, in other words, is what I'm saying. Take it slower. It'll be a lot easier. So you take out just the A, and you ask yourself, just the A, that's the GCF, that's the common. A times what and A times what will go back to this and this. It's just simple distribution. Nothing fancy yet with the FL and the FOIL. We'll do that in a minute on our second step. First step is just reverse distribution. That's all it is. You're just saying A times what will go back to 81A. Well, just 81? Yeah, just that. That's all for that part, right? And A times what will go back to 49A cubed. Well, 49A squared, because the 1 power and the 2 will add, which you all know. Everybody knew that right away. Right? Does that make sense? The first step is just reverse distribution. That's GCF factoring. That's taking out what's in common to the front. Now, once you've got that down, then you do the fancier stuff. The FL, if there's 2 terms. The FOIL, if there's 3. Right? So we have 2 terms. I'm going to do FL now. So front times front to be 81, 9 and 9. Last times last to be 49A squared, 7A, 7A. Does that make sense? Because it's A1s add to be A squared. Are we good with that? See how that works? And then how do you make negative 49? 1 positive, 1 negative. Is that good? Is that making sense for you? And that's our answer. We good like that? Any questions I can answer on that? Does that make sense? Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, I should have said that myself. Yeah, right in the beginning, if there was no, like, what if they had just given me 81 minus 49A squared? In other words, nothing in common. They don't both have an A, for example. What if they'd give me that, where they don't both have an A? They have nothing in common. I would go straight to the 2 parentheses, right? I would skip the 1 parenthesis step. Right on the money, exactly right. So everybody good with that? Everybody seeing that difference? So if they have something in common, you got to do the 1 parenthesis step, the reverse distribution, before you do the GCF, before you do the 2. But if they have nothing in common, go right to the 2. Exactly. Good. Okay, let's try this one. So 1/9 minus 36x to the 12th. Now, I don't know why they have a parenthesis on that. That's just dumb. I'm not going to write it. They're being dumb. Just, do those guys have anything in common? What I mean, does 1/9 have anything in common with 36x? No. Not 9 would, but not 1/9, not a fraction, right? So there's nothing in common, which means GCF, no. You with me? There's no GCF here. So in other words, don't do the 1 parenthesis step. Go right on to the 2. Is that making sense on that? Do you see the difference? There's no 1 parenthesis step. Go right to the 2 because there's nothing in common. No greatest common factor. So go right to the 2. In front, time. Now, well, what do I mean right to the 2? Well, you do the FL. For 2 terms, we know it's FL. So front times front to be 1/9. What's 1/9? Does that make sense? Yeah, it's just going to be 1/3, 1/3. Even though it's fractions, it's not that big a deal, huh? It's just 1/3, 1/3. Multiply to be a 9th. We good there? And last times last to be 36x to the 12th. What time? Remember, powers add, right? Powers add. So what's that going to be? 6x to the 6th. 6x to the 6th. Is that making sense there? Is that good? Right? Because 6 times 6 is 30. The numbers in the front multiply. Powers add, right? And how do you get negative 36? Always 1 positive, 1 negative, huh? Right, good? We're done. Nothing more needed. So that one had no GCF. So we didn't have to do the 1 parenthesis step. It was straight to the 2. Good? To there? Questions on that? All right, I'm going to move on. So, yeah. So we have 0.25 y squared minus 0.0036. Yeah, I would just, this is an FL. I would just go straight to the 2 parentheses. and you're looking for two numbers that multiply to be 0.25. Is it 0.5 or is it like 0.05 or is it, you know? You know there's a button on your calculator that'll tell you what two things multiply to be something? If you think about it for a minute, you've done it before, but you don't think about it in those terms. If I said, hey, I'm thinking of what two numbers multiply to be 49? What two numbers multiply to be 49? What same number is, yeah. And what operation tells you the answer 7? Square root. Isn't that what square root does, huh? It says what times itself is this thing, huh? Yeah, so you could do that here if you want to just square root this guy and square root this guy in your calculator. It'll tell you right away. That you could do, on all the FLs, you could just square root them. The numbers, anyway. You could just square root them. And so Jose's right on the money. It is 0.5. It's 0.5, 0.5. We need the y, though, huh? Also, 0.5y, 0.5y. Because that's y to the 1, y to the 1. Go back to y to the 2. Everybody okay? Careful, don't notice that you can skip that 0. That's not important, right? It's not 0.025, right? It's just 0.25. And then this one, I shouldn't have scribbled over it there. Put it back the way it was. 0.0036. Square root that one, it's going to be 0.06, isn't it? 0.06. 1 plus, 1 minus, we're done. That good? So if you're ever unsure, just hit the square root button. That tells you what times itself is this thing, which is what FL is asking for. Is that okay? Does that make sense? No questions? Okay, I'll move on. So 4a to the 4th minus 81. So try that one. So what's the first question on that one? First question is there a GCF, right? Isn't that the first question on every factoring problem? Is there a GCF? Is there something in common? No. No GCF. GCF, no. So what does that mean? That means you go right to the 2 parentheses. Y'all with me? You don't need to mess around with the 1 parenthesis. Just jump right into the 2. Good, we getting there? So FL, because we only have 2 terms, it's FL. So front times front to be front. What times what is 4a to the 4th? 2a squared, 2a squared, right? We good there? And then last times last to be 81, 9 and 9. 1 plus 1 minus to make negative 81. Good? Straight to the 2. No GCF, no messing around with the 1 big parenthesis. Okay. Let's compare 2 things. Let's compare x squared minus 9 and x squared plus 9. I've been saying up to now with these FLs that you got to have minus in the middle, right? We want minus in the middle. We care about minus in the middle. Why? Why? Why can't we do it with plus in the middle also? Let me show you what would happen if we tried that. This is an FL, right? How does this one factor? It's an easy one for you, right? X is in the front, 3 is in the back. And what signs do we need on those 3's to make negative 9?
Negative.
1 positive, 1 negative. Is that good? And if I was to check it, let me check it. I mean, that's the answer. It's right. It's good. Just out of interest's sake, let me check it. And watch what happens here. X squared minus 3x, and then this one goes to both, plus 3x minus. I remember how to multiply those out, how to FOIL those out. Did that earlier in the week, right? Right, I did this one goes to both, and then that one goes to both. And then what happens in the middle here? They cancel. Just x squared minus 9, which is right. Check. Right? I FOILed it out, and it became x squared minus 9, didn't it? Okay. And that's why that works, and that's all good, and that's why we like minus in the middle. But over here, you might think it works out too, but it doesn't. You might think, well, can't we just do FL here? No. Can't we just go like x is in the front, 3 is in the back, 3 times 3 is still 9, and how do you make plus 9? Just make them both plus. That's all good? No, it's not. It might look good at first, but it's not good. So everybody tracking with me? This is really important, because that's the very next problem. They're going to start throwing these at you. They're going to have some plus and some minus, and you need to learn to say no to the plus and yes to the minus. But first off, why? Why isn't that right? Well, check it. You'll see. Some of you already know, huh? Why is that not right? Why is this not that? Nobody knows yet? Okay, let's check it. How do you check it? Multiply it out. Boom, boom. X squared plus 3x. Looks good so far. Boom. This is looks like the blue one over there, right? I mean, what's the difference? Plus 3x plus 9. That's all good. What's the problem? What do these do in the middle? Do they cancel? Ah, there's the problem. Is this the same as that? No. 6x. And make a loud noise just so stick it in your mind. Do whatever I can in here. Right? Not the same. Right? See that? No, 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 no. Right? I see it because I'm trying to do all I can, because I'll say all this and then everybody will do it anyway. Not everybody. That's dramatic. But a few will. And I always think, why would anybody? I said it so clearly. I said it and I made funny noises even. What else can I do? Right? Do you see that? Do you see the plus can't be done? FL plus, you just can't do it. What's the answer? Not factorable. It wrecks it entirely to put a plus in the middle. That's why we're so obsessed with having minus in the middle, because it's the only way it works. So is everybody hearing me on that? FL minus in the middle is great. FL plus in the middle is not factorable. It just doesn't work. You might think plus and plus is fine, but you end up with a 6x. You don't. Remember, the middle term's supposed to drop out. That's why it's FL. There's no OI. There's no middle, OI. Why? Because the middle is 0 right here. See it cancel? There went the middle. This is the O and the I. They went bye-bye. That's why it works, because they cancel. You got to have 1 plus 1 minus. You can't have 2 pluses. You'll make a big middle term, which you never had. Everybody see that? FL minus works. FL plus, not factorable. So, all that leads to this story. Let's factor now. C to the 4th minus 16. Let me do this one with you. So, first off, first question, what's in common? What do they both have in common? Nothing, right? GCF, no, right? They don't both have a C. There's no number. All right. So what does that mean? We jump right into the 2 parentheses. We don't do the 1 parentheses GCF step. There is no GCF. Go right to the 2. FL, right? And it's a minus, so it's good, right? It's good. All right, here we go. Front times front to be front. What times what is C to the 4th? C squared. C squared. Good. Last times last to be 16. What times what's 16? 4 and 4. Right? And how do you make negative 16? 1 plus, 1 minus, positive 4 times negative 4, right? It's negative 16. Great. That was excellent. What's the problem? Yeah, that was great, but we're not done. Look at this guy. He's saying, I'm ready to go again. I'm another FL, right? What if I gave you C squared minus 4 all by itself, like a problem all by itself? What would you do with it? Yeah, that's an FL. You'd put the 2 parentheses, C's in the front, 2's in the back, 1 plus 1 minus, right? That's right. That needs to be done here too, right? You got to go again, because these are higher powers. When you have higher, if this was just if these guys were just regular C's, I wouldn't even give them a look. Whatever, I'm done. Don't even think about it. right? But if they've got higher powers like 2 or 3 or 4, you know, they're not just a regular C, then you got to give them a look. You know what I mean? Got to look over at them. One of my sons playing baseball, actually his season just ended. He just got into those leagues where they're on a full-size field, he's 13, and they have lead-offs and all that. It drives me bananas. Well, the team he played on maybe six months ago, the pitchers were all brand new to that whole thing. They weren't used to people leading off and all that. So I don't know if you know baseball at all, but when they take the lead off, the pitcher is supposed to look over at them and every now and then throw over there to keep them close so they don't just run all the bases. Well, the pitchers on his team were all brand new to the whole thing, and they didn't know what to do. So people got on base, and they, not only would they not throw over there, they wouldn't even look over there. It was driving me bananas. I'd sit in the stands with my wife, and my wife she's just easygoing, and I'm uptight, you know, and so I'm always like, oh, because the pitcher wouldn't even look over there, and then the runner would see that, and he's like, great. He would just take second base, take third base, then there'd be a wild pitch, they'd come home. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. This isn't even baseball. I'm like, you know, I felt like yelling out, just look over at him at least. Look, give him a look. Just look over there once or twice. I understand if you don't want to throw, but at least give him a look. So that's what we're talking about here. When these have higher powers, you got to give them a look. You got to give them a look at least. They might do more. They might do more. And it does. This one does. It goes a little further. C, it's an FL, isn't it? C, and 2 times 2 is 4. 1 plus 1 minus makes the -4. Now, why didn't I do the plus guy? Because that's the whole thing I was just showing you back here. The plus guy is not factorable, right? So this guy says, yeah, but I can't go further. I'm a plus. I'm a bad FL, right? Or maybe it's a good one. There's no more work to do. I don't know. What do you want to call it? I'm the kind that doesn't break down. Now, he's still part of the answer. He's still part of the answer. He just doesn't break down any further. Now we're totally done. How do we know? Well, that's a plus. Those never break down. And these guys are just regular C now. I'm not even going to give them a look. They're not going anywhere. Bases are loaded. Don't even look at the first base runner. He's not going anywhere, right? I don't know if that works if you know baseball or not, but whatever. I know a couple of you do. So these guys don't even look at him. They're just regular C. They're done. This guy's plus. He's done. We're done. Does that make sense on that? So it's a double breakdown. They're going to give you a lot of these. This isn't rare. This is common. They're going to give you a lot of these now. Is that good? So at first it was 4th power. I did 2, 2. You cut it in half. And then because he was 2, I gave him a look. Said, yep, he can go again. So I broke him down. Half of 2 is 1, 1. And the plus guy just comes down. Is that okay? Questions I can answer on that? No questions? All good? So 5 W to the 4th minus 80. All right, let's try that one. All right? What's the GCF? 5. Put the 5 in the front and just do 1 parenthesis. We'll do 2 and even more than 2 in a minute. 1 parenthesis. GCF. Yes, 5. And that means 1 parenthesis. Just the undistribution thing. The revert. Just ask yourself, what would distribute? 5 times what would go back to that? Well, just W to the 4th. Yeah, that's simple. And 5 times what would be 80? If you're not sure, divide by 5. Go up and take that other thing and divide. Whatever you put to the front, divide by. Right? If I put 5 to the front, divide by 5. And that'll tell you 16. That's the first step. Now, there are going to be more, but that's all for the first step. GCF, right? Everybody good with what I'm saying on that? GCF, 1 parenthesis. That's all. Now go for more. So, okay, so everybody good with the GCF step first. That's super, super important. The exam we take Tuesday, it's full of GCFs. So are we good with that GCF step? So first step on any factoring problem is to ask yourself, Is there something in common? Does 5 and 80 have something that goes into both of them? Yes, 5. So then you put the 5 in the front, 1 parenthesis, right? Not the 2 right away, just the 1, and divide by 5 there, and you find the number. Okay, now this is an FL. We'll bring down the 5. The 5 is there. Do the 2 right? The FL means the 1 parenthesis becomes 2. It's like the egg hatching into 2 or whatever, right? Like cells split. Is that called mitosis? Is that right? I remember that from biology. Is that what it is? Okay, been years. I don't know. Split one cell splits into 2. So right? So that 1 parenthesis splits into 2, and at first they're half as big. Oh yeah, that analogy works. We can run with it, right? The big cell splits into 2 half-size cells, right? That's what's happening. It's W squared, half as big as 4, right? And 16, 4, and 4, right? Because front times front makes front. And last times last makes last. And how do you make negative 16? 1 positive, 1 negative. Good. Good to there. All right, now, how are we going to go further than this? How are we going to go further? What are we going to do from here? Well, so now these guys he has a power. He has W to the second power. That means I'm going to give him a look. I'm going to say, hey, maybe you'll go further. I'm going to watch you. You might try to steal second base. I'm going to look at you. Right? If that was just regular, if these guys were just regular W's, I'd be done. I wouldn't even look at them. Nothing's happening here, right? But if they're higher powers, give them a look. Okay? W, is that one going to go anywhere? No. Then you look over and you go, oh, no, that's the slow guy. He's not going anywhere, right? It's a plus. So that plus is not going anywhere. Just bring it down. It's part of the answer, but it's not changing. It's not breaking down, right? But the other guy will, right? The other guy is a minus, so he's going to break down into FL. He'll break into 2. Half the power. W1, 2, 2, 1 plus, 1 minus. Done. How do we know we're done? Well, this guy's plus. He's done. These guys are just regular W. Don't even give them a look. You're done. Does that make sense on that? GCF first, all that? All right. Not going to quite finish the section as I wanted. Okay. So 1 minus C to the 8th. Try that one. See if you can break that one down. That one's going to break down quite a ways. Quite a ways. Because 1 can just keep, 1 is 1 times 1 forever, Hey, do I need to reorder that because that big power's at the back?
No.
Why not?
There's 2 terms.
Right. Is everybody as clear as she is on that? Right? When there's 2 terms, I don't care about power order. I just care about what? I just care about what? With 2 terms. Negative in the middle. Right? Are we clear on that? So there's negative in the middle. I'm happy. I'm good. Leave it as it is. So try that one. Okay, so this one's an FL, isn't it? There's nothing in common here, huh? GCF, no. Right? And how could a 1 have anything in common with anything? So it's an FL, which means 2 parentheses, right? Which means front times front is front. 1 times 1 is 1. Right? And then what about the back?
C4.
Yeah, C to the 4th. C to the 4th. Does that make sense? Everybody with me on that? 1 plus 1 minus. Why? Because powers add. 4 and 4 makes 8, right? Now, am I going to give anybody a look? Well, yeah, they're higher powers. If that was just regular C, I wouldn't even look at him. So I'm going to look at this guy. Can he go further? No, he's plus. Everybody with me? The plus never goes further. The plus just comes straight down. How about the minus? Yeah, he can break down, huh? So it's going to be what? Remember, it hatches into 2 smaller. Into 2 smaller, right? C squared, 1 plus 1 minus. Everybody with me? The 4 power breaks into 2 too. 1 plus, 1 minus, right? Whereas this guy just comes straight down. Everybody with me in that? Everybody see that? Now, am I done? Am I done here? He's plus. They're not going to do anything. But he's minus. So give him a look. C squared. Ah, he's ready to go again. You can break down 2 into 1, 1. You can do it again, right? This guy's coming straight down. This guy's coming. The first 2 aren't going to do anything. They're done. But the last guy, he's going to break down. 1, 1, C, 1 plus 1 minus. C to the first. C to the first, or just regular C, huh? Right? Now we're done. Now we're totally done. Is that making sense? There. We good? Totally done. Right? Because these guys are all plus. They're not going further. He's C to the first power. Don't even give him a look. We're done. So that was a triple breakdown. How do you know when you're done? Well, got a bunch of pluses. They can't go any further. And this only minus is just C to the first. So we're done. Right? All right. We need a break, huh? All right. Let's take... All right. So V to the 12th minus 256. Okay. Anything in common? GCF? GCF? Anything in common? No. Of course not, huh? No way. The back one doesn't even have a V. Front one doesn't even have a number. No, GCF, no. GCF, no, which means you go straight to the 2 parentheses, right? You don't mess with the 1 parenthesis. There's no GCF. There's no 1 parenthesis step. Go right to the 2. Right to the 2. Take it from there. Now, if you're looking at that big old 256 going, 256, I don't know, use your calculator. Hit the square root button, or just guess at numbers. And try them on your calculator, you know what I mean? So you can either hit the square root. You guys know where that button is? Grab me after if you don't know where that button is. Square root of 256, which is 16. What does that mean? That means 16 times 16 makes 256. Right? That's what square root does for you, right? It'll tell you the number you need. All right, take it from there. So break it out. Keep breaking it down as far. Okay, so 16 a to the 4th minus g to the 4th. So try that one. Break that one down. Is anything in common? GCF? Do they have anything in common? Do they have a GCF? No. 16A, G, no, there's nothing in common. No GCF. So that means no, go right to the 2 parentheses, right? No 1 parenthesis step. Go right to the 2. Take it from there. So break them in half, right? Well, sort of. So it's going to be 4a squared, 4a squared. Is that good so far? Because 4 times 4 is 16. Powers add, a2 is a4. Break those g's in half, the g power in half. G squared, that making sense? To get negative g to the fourth, you got 1 plus, 1 minus, as usual. Now, give them a look. Can they go further? Not this, not the plus guy, but yeah, the other guy, huh? So the plus guy stays as he is, but the other guy is going to break into 2, huh? He can cut in half again, so that's 2a, 2a. Yeah, g, 1 plus, 1 minus. We're done. Does everybody see that? See why that is? Because 2a, they multiply to be 4a squared. Right? 2 times 2 is 4. a1, it's really a1, right? Adds, right? You're cutting the power in half, aren't you? And the 4 is 2 times 2. Right? We're always, see how we're cutting powers in half? Fourth power cuts to 2 powers, cuts to 1 powers. 4, 2, 1. Right? You just keep cutting the powers in half, right? And even the G2 cuts in half to be G1, G1, right? G4, G2, G1, right? We're done. How do we know we're done? Well, these guys are plus, and this guy, the only minus, is just first power now. He's done. All right. Are there